For this tutorial, I'll be using my size 3.5mm hook, my scissors, and my yarn. So this is a lightweight yarn. You can use any lightweight yarn of your choice, either fingering weight or spot weight, depending on which yarn you prefer to use. So to get started, I'll be working in two panels, the front and the back panel. I'm going to start by making the front panel before we work on the back panel. So for that, you want to measure your hips, and I'll be using my hips measurement for this. My hips is 44 inches, so I'm going to divide that by 2, making it 22 inches for the front panel and 22 inches for the back panel. So I'm just going to start by making a chain that will give me 22 inches. I did a total of 78 chains. Now for the first row, start by chaining 1. In the first stitch, go in with 1 double crochet. Go into the next stitch with 1 double crochet, and the very next stitch with 1 double crochet. So you're just going to be putting 1 double crochet in each stitch till you get to the end of the row. Now I've come to the end of the first row. For the second row, chain 1. In this first stitch, you're going to do an increase, so go in with 2 double crochets. 1, 2. Now continue with 1 double crochet in the rest of the stitches. So I've come to the end of the row. In the last stitch, go in with 2 double crochets. Chain 1. For the third row, you're going to do an increase in the first stitch, so go in with 2 double crochets. Now continue with 1 double crochet in the rest of the stitches, and in the last stitch you're going to do an increase. Okay, so I did a total of 3 rows of increase on both sides of the panel, making it a total of 4 rows. For the fifth row, start by chaining 1, which I already did. In the first stitch, go in with 1 double crochet. Since I'm not doing any increase, I'm only going to work 1 double crochet in the first stitch. Now just continue with 1 double crochet in the rest of the stitches. So from this point, you're not going to be doing any increase. You're just going to be working back and forth with 1 double crochet in each stitch. Now I'm going to do this for until I get the length I want for the panel, and I'll let you know how many rows I end up doing. But for now, just keep on working back and forth with 1 double crochet till you have the length you want. So I did a total of 55 rows, and I'm okay with the length. So this is from above my bust down to mid thighs. If you want it to be longer, you're going to do more rows, and if you want it to be shorter, you're going to do fewer rows. But I have a total of 55 rows. Now for the 56th row, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start decreasing on both sides. So chain 1, which I already did. In the first 2 stitches, do a double crochet decrease. Yet over, going to the first stitch, you have 3 loops. You never put through 2, you have 2 loops. yarn over and go into the next stitch and pull through. You have 4 loops, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. You have your decrease. Now put 1 double crochet in the rest of the stitches till you get to the last 2 stitches where you're going to do a decrease. I've come to the end of the row. In the last 2 stitches do a decrease, so going to the second to the last stitch and pull through. You have 3 loops, pull through 2, going to the last stitch, pull through. You have 4 loops, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. You have your decrease. Chain 1, turn over. In the first 2 stitches do a decrease. Now continue with 1 double crochet in the rest of the stitches. So you're just going to continue with 1 double crochet in each stitch till you get to the last 2 stitches where you're going to do a decrease. Now from this point I'm going to keep on decreasing on these 2 sides until I have the amount of decrease I want. I'll let you know how many rows of decrease I end up doing, but just keep on decreasing in the first 2 stitches and in the last 2 stitches. So I did a total of 6 rows of decrease on both sides. Now I'm going to work on the neckline. So what I did was I counted 20 stitches away from this end. My stitch marker is on the 21st stitch. And also I counted 20 stitches away from this end and my stitch marker is on the 21st stitch. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by chaining 1. You're going to continue with your decrease on the first 2 stitches. Do a decrease. Now continue with 1 double crochet in each stitch till you get to where you have your stitch marker. Now I've come to where my stitch marker is. I'm going to do a decrease in the stitch before the stitch marker and the stitch where my stitch marker is. So yarn over, go into the stitch before the stitch marker, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops, pull through 2, yarn over and go into the last stitch, yarn over and pull through. You have 4 loops, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Chain 1 and turn over. Now you're going to work between these 2 ends. In the first 2 stitches do a decrease. Now continue with 1 double crochet in the rest of the stitches till you get to your last 2 stitches and you're going to do a decrease. So I've come to the last 2 stitches, do a decrease, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops, pull through 2, yarn over and go into the last stitch and pull through. You have 4 loops, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Chain 1. And the first stitch, in the first 2 stitches, go in with a decrease. So now you're just going to keep on decreasing on the 2 ends, and I'll let you know how many rows of decrease I end up with. So you're decreasing on these 2 ends, and I'll let you know how many rows of decrease I end up doing. So I'm done with this panel, and I did a total of 8 rows of decrease from the stitch marker, making it a total of 14 rows of decrease if you're counting from this end. So if you remember, I did 6 rows of decrease before I decided to separate the 2 panels, plus 8 rows of decrease, making it 14 rows of decrease. And then I just continued with a strap with no increase or decrease. So you're going to repeat the same thing on this end. You're going to start decreasing until you have a total of 8 rows of decrease, or more or less depending on your size. But for my size, I did a total of 8 rows of decrease, making it a total of 14 rows of decrease on the outer end. Now from this point, I'm just going to chain 1 and I'm going to do the strap where I'm not going to be doing any increase or decrease. So start by chaining 1, turn over, and just put 1 double crochet in each stitch. Chain 1, turn over, put 1 double crochet in each stitch. So you're just going to walk back and forth till you have the amount of rows you want for your strap. So I did a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I did a total of 8 rows for the strap, and I'm going to do this till I have a total of 8 rows. So once you're done with the front panel, once you're done with the strap, you're going to start with the back panel. So for the back panel, I changed the exact amount of chain I did for the front panel, which was 78 stitches, sorry, 78 chains, and then I did my 3 rows of increase because that's what I did for the front panel, and then I just continued with no increase or decrease. In total, I have a total of 40 rows for the back panel. So now I'm going to attach the back and the front panel together. So for that, I'm just going to get my my needle. So you want to use a needle, or you can use your hook depending on how you prefer to stitch your panels. But I'm going to be using my needle and my thread. So you're going to take the back panel and place it on the front panel. Now I'm going to count the first 3 stitches that the first 3 rows that I did. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, the first 4 rows, because I did 3 rows of increase. The first row I didn't do any increase, and then count the same for the front panel. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to start by stitching from the 5th row. So you're just going to have this little slit. So from the 5th row, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you're going to stitch from this 5th row all the way till you get to the end of the back panel, and I'm going to do this and then I'll show you what the dress looks like. Okay, so I'm done stitching the front and the back panels together. Then I made a long strap and just strap both sides to form the ruche. So what you're going to do is you're just going to make a long strap and strap it all the way till you get to where you have your back panel, and then continue all the way down, and then you can just tie it, or you can skip the strap if you don't want the dress to be ruched. It all depends on how you want to style the dress, but I just made the strap just to give it a little bit of beauty. And then for the next strap, I just joined the 2 ends together with a single crochet. So that's it for this tutorial. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next tutorial. Please don't forget to subscribe.